Let's take a look at Wild Night by Van Morrison. This is the opening track on his 5th studio album, Tupelo Honey, and it was also released as a single in 1971 and went to number 28 on the charts. In 1994, John Mellencamp and Michelle Ndegeocello released a cover of this song and went to number 3 on the charts. We'll be taking a look at the original, and this original is in the Stax style R&B vein, and it has some cool rhythm parts and cool lead parts. Van Morrison is credited as the rhythm guitarist on this track, and his rhythm part uses some creative chord voicings and actually uses different voicings for the same chord at different times. Ronnie Montrose played lead on this, and his lead part adds some really cool forward motion to the song as he mimics the bass line. In researching the production of this song, it's hard to say exactly what gear was used in the studio, but Van Morrison tended to favor hollow body guitars, maybe guitars with humbuckers like Les Pauls. Ronnie Montrose also favored Les Pauls in this time period, and he used humbuckers on his guitars as well. Later on, Ronnie switched to PRSs, which also used humbuckers. So if you have a humbucker guitar, that'll get you close and in the ballpark for this song. As far as amps go, Ronnie Montrose used Tweed amps, maybe a Fender Bassman with 310s. That was sort of his primary amp in this time period as well. In 1971, Van Morrison moved production of Tupelo Honey from New York to San Francisco. Ronnie Montrose was living in San Francisco at the time and got the opportunity to audition for Van's band. He landed the gig and quickly joined the band in the studio recording Tupelo Honey. Ronnie has stories about how he was able to hear and watch Van Morrison conjure the songs for Tupelo Honey out of thin air, and it was a really inspiring moment for him. Ronnie actually came up with the intro for this song as he was messing around with the chords for Wild Night in the studio. Wild night is calling. Well, that wild night is calling. Studying this song is a great way to look at moving chords up and down the neck using bar chords, different inversions, even some power chords. It's also a great way to look at maybe some R&B or blues patterns as we see in some of the rhythm parts. For the lead part, this is a great way to look at minor pentatonic scales or pentatonic scales in general, mimicking a bass line. For the lead part, this is also a great way to look at pentatonic scales, mimicking a bass line, throwing some triads into your lead playing, throwing some intervals into your lead playing like thirds and sixths, and also does a few lead licks with some bends. In addition to the real parts for the song, I'm going to teach you an easy strum-along version in the case that you're not quite ready to play the rhythm or lead parts to this song. With that said, let's get started with the track.